Hello, bastard viewers. Professional miserable person here, Winkers. Here to talk about the overview of upcoming changes. Grinding Gear Games has announced, brought to us by the wonderful Bex. Thank goodness she's back, because this little bit of communication, while underwhelming, really shows a paradigm shift in communication that I hope is embraced and not scared off. What's probably most remarkable and I think notable about this post to anyone who's reviewed it so far is that there's not much in it. But it is communication, and I would rather them tell us what's on their radar and what they're looking at, even if they don't have anything concrete to say. And I think that's commendable, and I think a lot of people are overlooking that. Let's get started on what it actually does say. A tainted currency buff is coming. Great. If you've run into bosses that spawn a bunch of rares, they've changed it so that the rares they spawn are a little toned down. Probably a big help to you. Running into a rare that's harder than the boss itself doesn't really feel good. And usually it needs to be a very stacked rare for that to happen. They've got some commentary about Harvest, not prepared. That is to say, they're aware and they know something needs to be done. I think that's what they're saying, that they know something needs to be done, but they don't have commentary. So I'm assuming there's buffs are on the radar, hopefully. They can't just be fine with it. I don't think that's even possible. The feedback on minion survivability is a little bit troubling. Certain monster auras and debuffs not applying to minions is okay, but minions in general just need to have a lot more health. The changes to minion damage, fine. You know, it was a little too easy to get them going early on, but you have to give the survivability back to some degree now. Honestly, it's become untenable. Anyone who's playing permanent minions can tell that. A lot of people who are playing temporary minions will say that as well, because they can't keep their minions alive long enough to reach like their full spin up. That's kind of a problem. They're also doing a check on which skills give a damage reduction specifically to minions. This is very important. Anyone who's fought Veritania will tell you that her storm is bullshit. It's not okay if you're playing a minion build. It's fine otherwise, generally speaking. Honestly, I think she's not a very good fight because overly encourages you to be over-prepared with damage. A build that tries to go in there and do it by observing mechanics and playing intelligently just gets punished like crazy by Veritania. She is the gear check of the Guardians. Lightning Mirages are getting fixed. Very good change. I play a build that has to stand still while casting. It's been a special kind of hell to run into Lightning Mirages, especially when in high tier maps these things can actually one-tap me. Which is, when we get to the end of this, we're going to talk about some things they haven't talked about that probably need to be talked about, but these are greater balance issues that may never get even remotely brought up this league, and that's sad, but I mean, we can only ask for so much. Some fixes for projectile collision in the lake, because I mean, if you've been in the lake and you're running Spark or Lightning Strike, you probably understand that your projectiles disappear sometimes, and it's not really fair. They're still looking at loot. Honestly, loot's kind of fine, but it's also in a state where like it's weighted in weird ways, and people don't like that. I don't like that. I think a lot of people don't like that. I'm sure the juicing groups are kind of okay with it, although they can't be that happy about it. What if they just don't get the rares for a whole day? That's a lot of money sunk with no return. Most importantly, they say this is not where it's going to end. This is just the areas they've decided on working on at the time of writing. Very good news, because it's got to be said, there's kind of an issue with incoming damage in the game right now. If you're not using certain defensive layers, you actually just get blown out at the top end. If you're playing a build in the top left side of the tree, so like a Templar start, and you're not going out of your way to get a lot of max res or spell suppression, you are probably suffering a lot with anything short of a enormous health pool and insane sustainability. And that's a bit of an issue, because you don't have a way to work around that right now. Obviously, Mind Over Matter can be an option when you're over there, but not every build that's over there can afford to run Mind Over Matter. Some builds operate in other areas, and they just can't get to it. I'm suffering from this a lot right now. I've got a build that can survive lots and just still gets blown out on occasion because like a single Lightning Mirage will spawn on top of me and it'll just kill me. And I'll be like, well, that's great. If only I had 85% Lightning Res, it'd be fine. But not all of us can be Stormweaver monsters. But yeah, I mean, it's good stuff. I'm glad they're still working. That's very healthy for the future of the game. I'm glad Bex is back to drive communication in a positive way. But man, it's still hard. That's not to say good things don't happen. Let's end the video on a positive note. Here's a clip of me finding an ashes. Oh my fuck, wait, what?